We've been so busy lately, I've barely had a moment to sit and write. Ela is about 5 months now, or so she thinks. She's been keeping a tally on a sheet of each day that goes by since she's realized, so it really could be much further along. We're supposed to leave for the edge of America soon. It'll be nice to be on familiar soil again. But Ela's been thinking about staying until the baby is born. I can't blame her. It's already terrifying enough giving birth, let alone potentially out in the middle of the waters, hours or days away from any land. She's unsure, though. She thinks I'm ready to begin working, helping with the collecting and whatnot, or at least helping with some gathering of attention. We've had a long talk about what it meant to be a woman, the ability to let our souls and bodies be chipped away at and bounce back, and what it means when you allow it to go too far, when there's no coming back. I've told her about my time working in different saloons. I've argued that I've never necessarily been a saloon girl, but Ela argues that it is exactly what I have been. That my jobs in marriage and in work have always been to lighten the hearts of the men that surround me. She believes that if I had the proper tools, I could have been so much more, with far less pain. I felt uneasy when she pointed to her cheek, the same placement that my scar ends. Or was it where it began? The scar, like many moments that I stayed when I should have ran for the hills. She said it was my sacrificing my body for something with no return. A way to take on the burden of another without any relief for myself. This time, she says, I'll get my dues. She thinks I can go back into saloon life, maybe take it a step further. Only if I want, she says. The way to milk them for all they are is to break their armor and let them fall through. She tends to leave many of our conversations on that note. I often look back on who I was before I ever joined anything, became anyone, hurt anyone. I was broken, as we all are. But I found solace in my Sundays. I would sit and listen to some fool yell about this or that in the book of their choosing from the Bible, and found pleasure in asking them the unanswerable questions. I like to watch them squirm, uncomfortable by my confrontation of their idolizations. I can't count on one hand the amount of times I was labeled a Jezebel, all because I had the audacity to question their certainty on the reality of the stories they preach. You'd think you'd only choose such a job if you felt confident enough to think fast on your feet, to be able to spew just the right amount of bullshit to leave your opponent answering their own question, ending in everyone being happy. I stopped going after Vinny died. Maybe even a bit before that. After Ernest died. I want to say I really stopped believing after I came face to face with one of these so-called men of faith. I may have been a little drunk, but only a tiny bit. I asked him what was on my mind after my husband's death. Does hell hurt A stupid question, but one nonetheless. The man, crabby and old, responded with a typical, "Absolutely," explaining how it's a place of misery where your worst fears are realized. I remember laughing at the thought of Vincenzo seeing my face down there because in reality, the thing the man wanted yet feared the most was to actually be loved. And my biggest fear would be being that to the ones I love. Thus began a whole new cycle of hell to torture myself over. But I continued to press the man. What if he loved God, but was a bad man? The preacher responded that God is not able to be with any bad, that God is good and battles evil. They cannot coexist in a person. So is this why I'm always battling God? Why we all vie for his attention, in which he denies and leaves us wanting more? But jealousy is a sin. Idolatry is evil, and yet God wishes to be idolized. So if we do as he asks, are we not evil? Therefore, never coming close to holiness, never getting to know him as he keeps us far away, whole worlds and skies apart. The way I see it, God, if out there, has set us up, conveniently placing temptation in way of contentment, starting with a snack and growing into a mask named desire. Knowing full well the boredom that contentment breeds, also he can enjoy watching the tragedy unfold, a king upon his throne, watching his millions of jesters dance around, making jokes out of our lives, hoping to give just the right amount of amusement versus piety for just a moment of his highness's attention. Whether we realize it or not, we all play the fool in a game that was created for us to be at a constant disadvantage. Our souls and bodies to be bartered for, angel or demon. Who do you let possess you? But what do I do if I don't want to be possessed? What if I want my soul to be mine, to walk out those kingdom doors and only to live to make myself laugh? To feed my soul with its desires, walk along the coals to feel the searing pain awaken my brain again. Feel the water fill my ears as I sink back into it. For no one's amusement but my own. But that isn't the design. It's never for us. It's always for them. So, maybe he was right. Dues are to be paid, and I will take my fill. And hope it's good enough for the ones who watch my soul.